Well, hello and welcome to the Brian Hornback podcast. This is episode 21. 21. We're now legal drinking age in the state of Tennessee, and I guess in America, I guess. Anyway, do want to welcome you here to the Brian Hornback podcast. As I've said before, we are heard on Apple Podcasts, we're heard on Spotify, we're heard on Google, we're heard on Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Breaker, and iHeart podcast, and also on Anchor FM. You probably hear Anchor FM periodically because that's one of the first ads on the Brian Hornback podcast, and we do appreciate the good folks at Anchor FM for giving us a place to produce the podcast, a place to host and store the podcast, and they do an exceptional job. So if you're looking to be in the podcast world, Anchor FM is a great place to start. So check out Anchor FM. Before we really get started, I want to start breaking up these good friends of BrianHornback.com. As you know, the Brian Hornback podcast is really just another venue for BrianHornback.com. It's a local op-ed, political news, views, and whatever entertains Brian Hornback. And it's been in operation for 16 years. Started on August the 9th of 2004. And so that is BrianHornback.com. And so a couple of folks there at BrianHornback.com that help keep the lights on at BrianHornback.com are Matlock Tire Service. They are East Tennessee's family-owned for more than 5 decades. Small business, family-owned business, Matlock Tire Service, East Tennessee's #1 tire and auto repair service center. They have 5 locations: Lenoir City, Maryville, Athens, Tennessee, Farragut, Tennessee, and the new one in Hardin Valley. So if you need new tires, or if you need your car serviced, you need to go see my good friend Jimmy Matlock, Joe Matlock, his son, Reagan Matlock, his other son, and all the good folks at Matlock Tire Service. The phone number for the one in Farragut is 865-966-0425. Also, if you're a businessman in East Tennessee or businesswoman, and you need insurance, you need to call my friend Lou Moran III at Interagency Insurance here in Knoxville, Tennessee. They're located on Baum Drive, but Lou or one of his folks will come to you. So you can find them at Interagent. Just type in on Google Interagency Insurance Knoxville. You'll find their website, which is interagencyinsurance.com. You got to put a hyphen in between the R and the A of Interagency. And check them out. They can write insurance in 38 states. Been in operation since 1966 when the Mr. Lou Moran the second started Interagency Insurance. And their phone number is 865-637-4519. So how y'all been doing? We are toward the end of, this is the last week of February of 2021. A lot of things going on in Knoxville, in East Tennessee. Again, we're still on BrianHornback.com. We're still talking about the 975 doses of Pfizer vaccine that got disposed of. That's the Health Department's words, disposed of. We're assuming they're out of the Chestnut Ridge landfill, but that's an assumption. Knox County Mayor Glenn Jacobs decided to enlist the services of Pew CPA to do an investigation into the missing or the disposed of vaccines, and then Dr. Martha Buchanan has since called in the KPD. So KPD is doing an investigation. Pew CPA is doing an investigation for Knox County, and so we will see where that goes. Anyway, that's kind of going on. They're refusing now that there's been some backlash about it. There's been some folks that not real pleased with the situation. Now they're not talking about it because it's under investigation. Pfizer has come out and said that there was a signature for the actual delivery of those vaccines. There was some speculation early on that maybe the vaccines didn't even get delivered. Yeah, well, that's not going to happen. I'm convinced the vaccines were delivered. I'm convinced that something happened. Obviously, the health department itself has said something happened. Dr. Martha Buchanan says that they were disposed of. My question to you is, if you've got a job that pays you minimum wage, pays you $12, pays you $15, or pays you $20 at the Knox County Health Department, and I don't know, and none of us in the media know what the actual procedure was for these vaccines. But if you have a job at the health department and your job is to accept deliveries, and you know that you've got a pandemic going on, and you know that you're getting in vaccines, you're getting vaccines in a box, and you're getting dry ice in a box, and you got to keep these Pfizer vaccines down below a certain, so much below zero, and you get a box in, and you think, well, that could be dry ice. But if you think it might be dry ice, then you should also, I would think, by a reasonable man's approach, think that, it could be the vaccines. But you just ditch the box in the dumpster because you think it's dry ice. But you never open the box. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Anyway, before I digress much more on that issue, let me say that the folks in rural Tennessee, the folks that health departments are run by the state, by the Department of Health in the state, are doing a phenomenal job vaccinating people. They're doing a phenomenal job vaccinating public school employees in Knox County. I know many public educators, many employees within the Knox County School District that have gone to numerous counties around Knox County because the health department was not prepared for such a time as this. Let me repeat that. The Knox County Health Department was not prepared for such a time as this. One thing that a health department should do is to be prepared for whatever might come. And they've had 10 or 12 years to prepare for this pandemic. And they weren't prepared. And they disposed of 975 vaccines, which has a value of over $19,000. But we have public employees of the Knox County Public School System that have traveled 1 hour, 2 hours away from Knoxville to be vaccinated by the Department of Health in the state, because the state runs all the health departments in all areas except for 6. And so the state's doing a phenomenal job. Kudos to Bill Lee, Governor Bill Lee, and his Department of Health Director, Dr. Percy. Phenomenal job. For those of you in Knox County, let me repeat that. The State Department of Health is doing a phenomenal job. So let me get off that rant. If you're looking to purchase a home in Knoxville, or if you're wanting to sell your home in Knoxville and maybe move to one of the rural parts of Tennessee, then you should call my friend Julia Hurley at the Just Homes Group. Just Homes Group is affiliated with Realty Executives in Farragut and West Knoxville. JustHomesGroup.com, or just get on Facebook and look for Just Homes Group. You can find all kinds of stuff about Just Homes Group either at their website or on Facebook, or on Twitter, and I think she's on Instagram, and I know she's on LinkedIn. Julia Hurley of Just Homes Group. If you're looking to buy or sell, even if you're wanting to find a home in rural Tennessee, Julia Hurley can help you find a home in rural Tennessee. And so Just Homes Group is the website, and the phone number is area code 865-237-7328. That's Julia Hurley of the Just Homes Group, affiliated with Realty Executives. If you're a businessman, or if you're somebody that's thinking about running for public office, and you need some strategic help, if you need a strategy for a political campaign, or if you need a strategy for your business, or if you're already in business and you've got need to get through some governmental red tape with the local Knoxville, Knox County, or the state, nobody better to call than my friend Nick Pavlis at Pavlis Public Strategies. Nick served 2 consecutive terms as an at-large city councilman back in the 90s, sat out a term and was elected to 2 more consecutive terms to serve the 1st District City Council. That's the district that includes South Knoxville and comes across the river a little bit to get the UT and Fort Sanders, I think. But Nick has successfully won an election in Knoxville 4 times, and he has had an extensive business career working with governmental entities in the state and in counties and in regions. And he's now retired from that, and he's opened up Pavlis Public Strategies, and he is going to help you with anything that you need strategy-wise for your business to get through governmental red tape with all the bureaucrats. I'm not a fan of bureaucrats. You've probably picked that up if you've listened to any of the last 20 episodes of the Brian Hornback podcast, because we're on episode 21 now. But anyway, you can also find Nick on the interweb. It's at pavlispublicstrategies.com, pavlispublicstrategies.com, or better yet, just give him a call at 865-599-4606. So what's going on in Knoxville this coming week? Well, we got County Commission is going to meet tomorrow. They've got a couple of issues on the agenda. They've got a rezoning coming up that may or may not be very well contentious. It's a property out on Beverly Road, out in the Fountain City area. It's actually been before the County Commission. I guess this will be the 3rd time. Let's see. It came up in 2019, and there really wasn't much of a plan for it. It was just a rezoning, and so the developer went back and worked with the MPC, and they told him these are the kind of things you would need to do if you're able to fit this development onto this property, and he did that. And he came back to MPC, and they approved it, and the County Commission didn't approve it, and so this is his 3rd time coming back Monday night, and he has the support of the MPC. MPC voted on it 13-0, I believe it was, so again, he's coming back to the County Commission tomorrow night. Here's the issue. If it is rezoned, then the concept plan, which he's already given the concept plan, but with the concept plan that's in that he's already presented a preliminary concept plan, okay? And so that's what the commissioners get to vote on. When they first voted on it in 2018, there really wasn't any concept plan. It was just a simple rezoning. But now he's given them a preliminary concept plan for what he wants to do. It's currently zoned industrial and the general residential. So if it stays industrial and general residential, he could build some industrial type buildings for commercial businesses, and he could also put some apartments on that property, and it would never come back for any additional approval. But if they go ahead and go with the rezoning that's going on tomorrow evening, not only will he have to come back to the MPC for concept plans and those type things, but there'll be checks and balances along the way. So, you know, I would think the folks in Fountain City would probably like some single-family dwellings versus industrial. But, you know, I'm an old East Knox County boy, grew up in Sunnyview, graduated from Carter, moved out to Concord in 92, been in Bluegrass since 99. So, you know, I don't really know what the folks in Fountain City want. But that's kind of the decision tomorrow, industrial and apartments or single-family homes. So that's kind of how I see it. It's kind of where it's at. Merit Council, you know, we've had a lot of, man, there's been a lot of stories since October on the Merit Council, Kumbaya meetings with the Sheriff's Department, with Mr. Scott Broyles, who's, by the way, kudos to Scott Broyles. He got appointed to the Knox County Development Corporation, no, not the Knox County Development Corporation, Knoxville Community Development Corporation, the KCDC. They do a lot of the subsidized housing, apartments, that type of thing. But Scott Broyles was the citizen representative on there. 3 county commissioners, Larson J., Courtney Durrett, and Richie Beeler. A member of the Merit Council, now chairman, Gina Oster, and executive director, Paula Taylor, were on there. And then from the Sheriff's Department, it was Lisette something. She's the Knox County HR director, and was supposed to be Mike Rubel. He showed up at the first meeting, but then Chief Purvis showed up after that for all the other meetings. They really didn't decide on a whole lot in that meeting, but Larson J. is, Commissioner Larson J. is now proposing some ordinance changes, and so I put down the videos, the video of that meeting from a week ago on the blog on Friday or Saturday, and later tonight, Sunday night, I will put up the actual changes that Larson J. has proposed. That won't be coming up for a couple of months, but it will be coming up for discussion. You know, look, the men and women of the Knox County Sheriff's Department really haven't gotten anything in the last 2 years with Sheriff Spangler. I'm just going to be honest with you. He's re-stickered the cars. Woo-hoo! He's hired as many, if not more, assistant chiefs as the previous administration. A lot of people have gotten moved from lieutenant to sergeant because of family connections. It would appear to the reasonable man. And now the sheriff tomorrow wants to build a $1.5 million virtual courtroom out at the detention facility out in northeast Knox County, out off Millertown Pike, Washington Pike. It's not Millertown, it's Washington Pike. Out off Washington Pike. Did you hear me? Washington Pike. Anyway, so he wants to expand the detention facility to include a virtual courtroom because during the pandemic, a lot of inmates have had to have court proceedings via electronic form. And yeah, the Supreme Court during the pandemic has said that's what we need to do. But nobody knows what the Supreme Court is going to say after the pandemic's over, if it's ever going to be over. So we're going to build this courtroom out there. We're going to set up some computers, and we're going to save $100,000 a year in transportation from transporting these inmates from Maloneyville Road to the City County Building, the City County Building back to Maloneyville Road. We're going to save $100,000 a year on that. And Commissioner Kyle Ward asked Sheriff Spangler, what are you going to do with the $100,000? I don't know. Do what? The sheriff said, I don't know what I'm going to do with $100,000 in savings every year. That's what he said last Monday during the commission workshop. That's what he said. So Commissioner Ward, when he got the microphone back, he said, well, you know, I'd like that if you get any savings that you would put that into salaries for the officers. And the sheriff said, well, if I had 1.5 million, that's where it would go. Well, hold on a second. You're getting 1.5 million to build a virtual courtroom. At least that's what you're asking for. You're asking for 1.5 million, not for officer raises. You're asking to build a virtual courtroom, which after the pandemic might not ever be used. Criminal court clerk Mike Hammond came prepared to the virtual workshop last Monday and said that all the judges are in agreement. Well, that's just fine and dandy. But we're talking about the government. We're talking about the taxpayers paying $1.5 million for a virtual courtroom that might or might not be used after the pandemic. And, you know, I just hope the county commission thinks about that tomorrow. And really, I would almost favor just a deferral for 30, 90 days to see if Knox County is going to be the last of the 95 counties to get vaccinated and move on beyond the pandemic before we invest $1.5 million in a virtual courtroom. But anyway, that's my side of the story. We're now almost 22 minutes, and I've been noticing over the back of me, and if you're watching me on YouTube, you see it. There's this bottle that's been bothering me in the background, and it's, I don't know how much is left in it, 15%, but it's the Mountain Dew Major Melon. I like Mountain Dew. I don't necessarily like the hard stuff. I love the Mountain Dew Zero. Love the Mountain Dew Zero because it doesn't have the diet Mountain Dew taste. But I thought Major Melon Mountain Dew was going to be pretty good. It's okay. I mean, but, you know, Mountain Dew is lemon and lime, right? If I'm remembering. And why you would charge that with watermelon, I don't know. I could think of some other things to charge Mountain Dew with. But anyway, you know, it's out there. It's a limited edition. Try it. Appreciate y'all tuning in to episode 21 of the Brian Hornback Podcast. And we'll be back with episode 22 sometime in the